Hi, my name is Jessica Carlson. Welcome to my presentation, SPED 101 Revisited. My objective today is to provide you with the history, practices, and other important information related to the field of special education. I have been teaching since January of 2011 in the field of special education. What I have found is that many general education teachers have received minimal professional development about special education, maybe taking one or two classes in their undergrad, and very little PD is provided by their school districts. Students that receive special education services are first and foremost a general education student. This presentation aims to provide you with more information on special education in an interactive trivia type format. I hope you enjoy it. Our first question. Let's look at some of the history of the development of special education in the United States. In what year was the Education for All Handicapped Children Act first passed? Was it A, 1954, B, 1975, or C, 1990? The correct answer is B, 1975. EHA would later be reauthorized to what we today know as the Individuals with Disabilities Act, or IDEA. EHA was signed into law on November 29, 1975 by President Gerald Ford. Education for those with disabilities was often private or residential and was rare and very costly to parents. And the quality of that education varied from state to state. Some public schools would outright refuse to enroll students with disabilities. Advocacy groups for the education of individuals with disabilities dates back to the 1930s. The next question is, what Supreme Court decision was one reason for Congress passing the EHA? Was it A, Goss versus Lopez? Was it B, Board of Education of Independent School District number 92 of Potawatomi County versus Earls? Or C, Brown versus Board of Education? The correct answer is C, Brown versus Board of Education. This decision was made in 1954 that ruled that separate but equal was unconstitutional. Parents and advocacy groups used this ruling when filing their own lawsuits. The Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965 was also instrumental in laying the groundwork for EHA. The 14th Amendment, which states no state should deny to any person equal protection under the law, was also cited in lawsuits. The next question is, according to the National Center for Education Statistics, how many students receive special education and related services? A, 6.2 million, B, 7.3 million, or C, 10.4 million? The correct answer is B, 7.3 million children between the ages of 3 to 21 receive special education services. Prior to the passing of EHA in 1975, nearly 2 million students were excluded from an education in public schools. Many students that were not excluded from school struggled to learn. You may know grandparents, parents, or aunts or uncles who did not complete their education or struggled because they had an undiagnosed learning disability. Next question. How many categories of disability does IDEA recognize? A, 10, B, 12, or C, 13? The correct answer is C, 13. And those categories are a specific learning disability, other health impairment, autism spectrum disorder, emotional disturbance, speech or language impairment, vision including blindness, deafness, hearing impairment, deaf blindness, orthopedic impairment, intellectual disability, traumatic brain injury, and multiple disabilities. Our next question is, what is the most common disability category? Is it A, autism, B, specific learning disability, or C, other health impairments? The correct answer is B, a specific learning disability that you also might hear referred to as SLD. 32% of individuals receiving services qualify under this category. Areas impacted can include reading, either basic reading skills, fluency and or comprehension, written expression, or math, calculation and or problem solving. Students could have qualification in one or more of these areas. If a student qualifies under an SLD in reading but not math, they would only receive services for reading, but accommodations related to the reading disability would be provided across all areas. So in math, you often have word problems. The student may need those word problems read in some fashion to them. Next question. Having a disability automatically qualifies a student for special education services. True or false? The correct answer is false. The disability must adversely affect a student's educational performance and require specialized instruction. A student who uses a wheelchair would not automatically qualify for an IEP. Same goes for autism, ADHD, or a vision impairment. Accommodation plans can be developed to meet needs that when they do not qualify for special education services. This would qualify under the Section 504. Our next question is, states can offer more, but not less than the federal law idea. True or false? This is true. States are required to follow what is in IDEA, but are allowed to offer more services. Some states may have more disability categories. For example, in Illinois, we have a 14th category called developmental delay, which we can use up to age 9. States may also change the evaluation timelines to be shorter. IDEA states that a school must complete an evaluation within 60 school days after they receive parental consent, but some states may shorten that timeline. Our next question is, will an IEP follow a student to college? True or false? This is false. Special education does not extend to post-secondary institutions. Individuals can receive accommodations, though, under Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. Individuals must advocate for themselves, so it is imperative to develop these advocacy skills with students as part of their transition plan in high school. Colleges should have a disability services office that can assist students in navigating issues related to their accommodation plans. Our next question here is, what should every parent or guardian receive at every IEP meeting? A, rights and procedural safeguards. B, a copy of meeting documents. Or C, both. The correct answer is C, both. Parents and guardians are required to receive a copy of their state's rights and procedural safeguards at every IEP-related meeting. These outline important information related to the special education process, including dispute resolution and due process. Parents will also receive a copy of the IEP and evaluation reports discussed at the meeting. Some states require draft copies to be sent out in advance. In Illinois, we require a draft of any materials being discussed at the meeting at least 3 school days before the meeting. This gives parents a chance to review the material being discussed and hopefully come better prepared with concerns or questions. Our last question is a scenario. You suspect that a student in your class may have a disability. What should you do? A. Contact the parents. B. Refer the student to your special education team. Or C. Both. The correct answer is C. Both. You should always involve the parents of any suspected concerns. You can also refer your student to your school's special education or pre-referral team to discuss the next steps. Continue to take data on the student. This includes not only their academics, but functional concerns. Include data on any accommodations or modifications you may be providing that student to help them be successful in your class. Thank you for watching my presentation, SPED 101 Revisited. These are the references that I use in this presentation. These are great places to visit to continue to learn about special education. I hope you enjoyed this presentation.